There are talks that Donald Trump might replace JD Vance. Why don't we just jump into this and see if there's any validity to these claims?
Donald Trump has about 10 days to replace JD Vance. Okay, so Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer stated that Trump has about 10 days to replace JD Vance as his running mate if he chooses. Amid reports, Trump regrets the choice. Now, this is rumors they're creating. Schumer criticized the decision, saying the addition of JD Vance to this ticket is incredibly a bad choice. Trump is sitting there scratching his head and wondering, why did I pick this guy? Trump's campaign, however, denied any intention to replace Vance. Communications Director Stephen Chang said President Trump is thrilled with the choice he made with Senator Vance, and any reporting to the contrary is nothing but ridiculous fake news. Political scientist Mitchell Brown noted that while Trump could replace Vance before ballot deadlines, it would all involve the Republican National Committee and be complicated by stability, the time it takes to gear up a campaign and run a good campaign. By the way, this is also happening when a story comes out by Peter Thiel saying he is elated by the JD Vance pick and warms to Trump. Again, keep in mind, Peter Thiel had a little bit distanced himself from Trump, and he had other people that he wanted to be the president instead of Trump. But now he has rekindled the support for Trump after him choosing JD Vance, one of Thiel's close political allies, as his running mate. Thiel expressed cautious optimism about a second term, saying, "It makes me more hopeful that a second term Trump will be better than the first." Despite his renewed support, Thiel remained non-committal about making significant financial contributions. I went on record saying I would not give money to super PACs, and I have to stick to that. He believes Trump and Vance will win by solid margin, adding, "I think Trump and JD will crush the election by solid margin, 4% or 5% of the popular vote."
So it seems the report was complete garbage, but it begs the question, why would the Democrats go about doing this? Why would they say that Donald Trump is unhappy with his pick if he's saying he's elated and he couldn't be happier? I feel like there's something to this story that we are just not hearing.
Off the Trump train for the last 8 years or so. This is an initial, original PayPal mafia, Silicon Valley billionaire. When he speaks, you should definitely be listening. So he's got a lot of credibility when he talks about JD Vance. There's definitely been stories coming out about, well, is Trump happy with his pick, not happy with his pick? At this point, I think it would be a horrible look for Trump to reverse the decision. He went through a vetting process, almost apprentice-like, saying, Marco Rubio, you are not the VP. Doug Burgum, you are not the VP. And then obviously JD Vance was there. Now, why is JD Vance a viable VP? Who does he attract?
Farmers.
He wrote the book, The Hillbilly Elegy, right? Elegy. And where he carries weight is that Midwest Rust Belt. The paycheck to paycheck American worker, manufacturing's been gone. The Rust Belt's been basically ruined. The Ohios of the world, the Michigans of the world, the Pennsylvanias of the world, everything in that Rust Belt, this is who he's going to identify with. And if you don't believe me, listen to what your friend, the pollster, had to say. What was the guy that you did a thing with Vinny on Piers Morgan? Frank Lutz?
Lutz.
Yeah. He said... he actually did some polling. He said he defended Trump's choice of JD Vance as his VP candidate, emphasizing Vance's appeal to the paycheck voter. He chose to double down, and JD Vance comes from the background that Trump's focusing on, so he's credible. And he's got the language because this is how he grew up. So here you have, whether it's Kamala basically pandering to the LGBT, abortion, trans community, or you have JD Vance, who's basically identifying with the average American working class. To me, the American working class is who you should be focusing on, not this other nonsense.
The thing that a lot of people forget is that this LGBTQ, trans, all of this stuff, most Americans don't want to be hearing this on a day-to-day basis. Like, yeah, you could do whatever you want, just don't throw it down my face. That's how most Americans feel. We actually want to elect a leader who actually can relate to us and actually works to protect the average middle-class family. Like JD Vance, he's from the bottom. He's from the bottom of the bottom, and he worked his way up. That is the American dream personified. I think this is just a misinformation and disinformation campaign by the Democrats. And what is their motive? I don't really know at this point.
JD Vance, this story is being used by the left Because have there been issues with JD Vance? Yes. Have they dug up a lot of opposition research and some very bombastic things he said? Yes. Like, you know, his wife and what she said or didn't say or won't say about Trump. Yes, all of that's there. But what the left is doing is the same thing that the right was doing with the Biden health. If you keep that story live, living, and as a fog, just up there, sparks and smoke and distraction, then it prevents people from talking about real issues. So if you can keep the story of, are you going to replace JD Vance? You saw what he said about you. You saw what he did. Saw what he did. The left is doing a very good job of that. And the pamphlet for the DNC, Newsweek, is out there trying to propagate the story and keep it going. So because that way it distracts from being able to talk about things like the border, the economy, interest rates, and the things that Trump wants to do to move the ball forward. So when you create a distraction and keep people talking about something, it prevents people from talking about real issues. So is there some real things in JD Vance's background that are popping up? Yes. But they're using it with a replacement story to create even more fire out of it? Yes.
Pat, and I'm being honest. I don't know. I didn't get as deep as, you know, I didn't do that much research about JD Vance. But just from a personal looking from the outside in, there's just something that in here in my heart is off with that guy. I don't know what it is. And the fact that at the end of the day, Pat, if I talked like this to you, you know what? To you, not to you, to your face, but to Tom. Tom, you know what? I would never, ever work for a guy like this. Pat, he just overall, he's the worst thing for any company. He's just a scumbag. I don't like cops. I don't like this. And then one day I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to be your guy. I'm going to be with you. To me, Pat should never trust me 100% because that's how you really feel. I get what Adam was saying, Adam, that people change their points of view. But that feeling in there, once you have that Trump derangement system that you hate Trump because you were brainwashed to, I still can't trust you 100%.
Making it super personal is different from saying, I don't agree with Tom on taxing tariffs.
Yeah, exactly. But saying I don't like him and this and you'll look at the history of what he has said.
What are the chances that Trump knew these comments before they
100%.
He had to.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah,
what are the chances that they had a conversation? Hey, man, this is what I'm expecting of you.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the chances that Trump and him had a conversation? Hey, man, I know you said this. This is where I'm at now. Here's what I need from you. I feel like Trump knew all of this. So as much as we want to say, oh, I don't like him or not, Trump's a marketer. He knows what he's doing. If Trump is going to win, he needs to flip those Midwestern independent voters who voted for him in 16 but didn't vote for him in 20. And how is he going to appeal to those guys?
So here's
and the reality is, here's a guy that basically flipped just like them that can identify with them.
So let me tell you who this guy was and why, he chose him. My opinion, okay? My opinion. So this guy came up and everybody from mainstream media had him on 2016, 17, 18. Why? Because he was a Republican who hated Trump. And the left loves that. Of course. So he got CNN, MSNBC. They bought his book. He was a hero. They made a movie about him. Mm-hmm. You think they would have made a movie about him? He said good things about Trump? No way. They made a movie about the guy with good actors and actresses because he trashed Trump.
Yeah.
Okay? That's why he got the movie. So then he gets the movie. And then later on, he flips. And you know who warms up to him? Trump's son, Junior, gets close to him. They're saying this is Junior's candidate that was brought up to the father, okay, to say, here's who he is. And when they did, and they started spending time together, anyways, his position changed. However, I got a bigger question for you. So right now, the whole thing yesterday with Jesse Waters, where I'm like, Marcus Aurelius, they used to whisper, he had a slave that would sit right behind him to always tell him, hey, you're not as important as you think you are. Rob, can you pull up, what did the slave tell Marcus Aurelius every day? What did the slave tell Marcus Aurelius?
And
What's the famous quote?
He'd have one slave, like a main guy behind.
Remember thou art mortal?
Yeah, remember that you're going to die, or some quote like that. He would whisper something to him. What was it? You're just a man. You're just a man. You're just a man. This is what he would whisper to him, right?
That's pretty awesome.
The slave would whisper to him in the back, hey, you're just a man. You're just a man. You're just a man. I said to Jesse yesterday, Trump needs to have somebody that whispers to him and says, you need to win over independence. You need to win over independence. You need to win over independence. Stop allowing MAGA to make you think they're everybody. They're not. So, strategically, Likability, I have my own opinions. That's a different story with JD. Strategically, here's what you have to ask yourself. Would you rather have a JD or a Nikki Haley?
JD.
By the way, JD is a better version of Nikki Haley. But JD and Nikki Haley have an audience that Trump doesn't have. And that's why he needed JD. That's why everybody's like, I can't believe you were against Trump picking Vivek. I'm like the biggest Vivek guy. But Vivek's not going to bring him new voters that he didn't already have.
Exactly. Yes.
Vivek, the only reason Vivek wasn't the leading guy at the Republican debates and he wouldn't move up is because one guy had all the votes, and that's Trump.
Trump, yeah.
Or else he would have lapped all of these guys.
For
seven.
sure.
That's totally right. All the die-hard Trump fans, most of them love Vivek. They're the exact same audience. So I guess it does make sense picking JD because he does appeal more to independent voters. But with that, that also comes the challenge of if something ever happened to Trump, can we rely on Vance the same way that we could rely on Vivek Ramaswamy? And that's a question mark that nobody truly knows because he did talk bad about Trump in 2016. So this man is either one of two things. He's either a changed man who recognizes wrongs, or number two, he is a wolf in sheep's clothing. And at this point, it's too early for me to say. Seems like an okay guy. I still would have went with Vivek, but I'm open to hearing him out because I know Donald Trump did his research and he didn't just pick some guy off the street. So I'll give him a shot, but if he does some flaky stuff like Mike Pence did, I'm going to be off this wagon pretty quickly. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. Do you think JD Vance should be the VP, or do you think he should abandon ship and pick somebody else? At this point, I think he should stay with JD Vance because it would look weak him to be flip-flopping at VPs all the time. Once you made your pick, just stick with him and give him a shot. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. I'd love to hear that. And if you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like, comment, subscribe, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. Till next time.